All right, this is mile marker 4, practice 1, question 3. And we're getting to some harder problems now. We're given a graph. We're told that D is the center of our circle and A is a point on the circle. When we say a point on the circle, we mean on its circumference. So if you could imagine, our circle would go around this point D with a distance that's this length. So if you think about that, we could identify that this length from A to D as our radius. Now remember, the equation of the circle, we need two things. We need the center and the length of the radius. We're already told D is our center, so we can identify that ordered pair as 3, -2. I'm going to write it out to the side. Remember that when we're referring to a circle, we call this H, K, and we might want to remember that for our equation. Now, how do we find the length of a diagonal segment on a grid? I can't just count horizontally or vertically. I need to actually find the diagonal distance here. So the easiest way to do that is just by using the Pythagorean theorem, which we should be pretty familiar with by now. I can easily count that the leg, if I make a right triangle out of this leg is 3 units. This leg is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 units, unless I miscounted. 6 units. And the radius that I'm searching for is the hypotenuse of my circle. Or sorry, of my right triangle. Circles don't have hypotenuses. But the right triangle certainly does. So I'm looking for the hypotenuse of this triangle, which means I'm going to use the traditional Pythagorean theorem. So 3 squared, I know there's not a lot of room on here. 3 squared plus 6 squared gives me r squared. And you know, earlier I said we needed the radius, but we actually really need the radius squared. So we don't even have to take this as far as finding our exact radius. All right, the Pythagorean theorem in progress. We're going to do our exponents first. So 9 plus 6 times 6, 36 is r squared. And then I could go ahead and add those. 36 plus 9 is 45 is r squared. So that's really all we need. It doesn't hurt to identify the radius is going to be the square root of 45. And no doubt we could simplify that radical to be 3 root 5 if you wish, but that's really taking it an unnecessary step. All we need is r squared. So now to write our equation, remember it's x minus h squared. So x minus, and h was a positive 3. We're going to add to that y minus k squared. Again, since k is negative here, instead of saying y minus -2, let's just change that to addition, y plus 2. Those are equivalent. Lastly, that's equal to our radius squared, which we figured out was 45.